Ghanaian landlords, get ready. The rent control department is coming at you.
Now, the rent control department has vowed to crack the whip on landlords.
For those of you who have been renting your homes 2 years in advance, 3 years in advance, 5 years in advance, just get ready. Especially you those in Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, and almost everywhere. If this is your first time here, kindly subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to press the bell button so that whenever we post our new videos, you get notified. And if you want to buy a land in Ghana, you want to buy a house in Ghana, check in the description of the video. You get a number that you reach us. Thank you. Now let's go.
About 72% of the cases that came were on rent arrears, which means a lot of tenants are not being able to pay their rent. So that was very massive. Under section 25(5), it says any person who has a condition of grant, renewal or continuance of a tenancy demand in the case of monthly or short tenancy the payment in advance or more than a month's rent, or in the case of a tenancy exceeding 6 months, the payment in advance of more than 6 months rent, shall be guilty of an offence and shall upon conviction be liable to a fine not exceeding 500 penalty units, which is equivalent to 6,000, or a term of imprisonment not exceeding 2 years.
This may not be a current news, but this is a law in our constitution that does not expire. So it doesn't matter whether this news, they have done it during the COVID time or whatever it is. Charlie, this is a serious situation that most of the landlords are not aware of this. And the law says that the maximum you are allowed to take tenancy is 6 months. If you are taking it more than that, it's an offense. So those of you who are charging 1 year in advance, 2 years in advance, 3 years in advance, it's an offense. But come to think of it, would any landlord ever, escape this if they are actually going to work with this law? Would any landlord escape it? Because almost all the landlords in the entire country, they charge more than 6 months. People may be focusing on those in Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi, but trust me, it is everywhere. Even in the villages, when you go to rent, you ask the teacher trainees, the nurses who have been transferred to go to the villages in remote areas. The landlords, they don't rent it monthly. Though they say it's monthly, but they charge yearly. So that place, the minimum you can get even is 1 year. Same as in Greater Accra here. So if they are going to charge or work with this law, the entire country will be in confusion. Nobody will escape it. Nobody will escape this. So it's a sad incident that we have a very nice written law, but the reality is different from what is actually happening. I'm not saying you can't get places you rent monthly. Those are short-term, or short-term tenancy. You understand? Like short stay rental. Those things are available. Even if you want to rent a day, or you want to rent few hours, or you want to rent weekly or a month, it's there. But those ones are expensive. Usually it's the furnished apartment, which I myself have advertised on. You understand? But at the same time, if you are looking for a rental where you bring your own stuff, your own furnishing, your own everything, and you want to stay in the person's house, my brother or my sister, you are paying 2 years in advance. You are paying 2 years in advance with no mercy. It is happening. It is what is the norm. You understand? So that means that the landlords are seated on a tube. The agents are also seated on a tube. If you rent your room to someone and you charge him 2 years, you have to be treating the person small, because the day the person will vex and take you to the court, trust me, you have sold yourself. You will not be able to run out. So if you are a landlord, you have to be very careful. I'm not saying, what is happening in the law. I'm not saying what is written in the law is actually practicalized. The government himself, the constitution, or the law, people who are working with the law, the police or whatever, the rent control, all of them, they are aware of what is happening in the country. They are aware that it's 2 years. They are aware it is 1 year. They are aware people are charged 5 years rent payment in advance. They are aware. But what be tied to you if they carry you to court? That place there you go lose. Don't say that because nobody has sued anyone or nobody. No, don't say that one. If you have successfully managed to take 1 year rent in advance or 2 years rent advance from your tenant, please never go into war with them. Never go into any confusion with the person. Because the day the person will carry you to court, you will know that that's the day you will know that, or this thing everyone is doing, that's the day you will know that, everyone is in mom. Hey, you now you know come out easy. That labor that affair. You understand? So it is an offense, written, constitution wise, written wise, book wise. When you look at it, book, if you follow book there, it's an offense. It's an offense to charge more than 6 months in advance. It's an offense to charge 2 years in advance. It's an offense to charge 5 years in advance. You know the shops, most of the shops you see on the streets in the center of Accra, where they don't rent even 1 year or 2 years, so they take 5 years in advance. Some take 10 years in advance. You understand? So it's a big issue that's happening. But working with the law it's something that the rent control, the department or whatever, the law enforcers will not be able to do it because they have limited resources to be able to do it. Because if they are going to implement that one, all the landlords will be in prison. All the landlords will be found guilty. But because they've not come for you as a landlord doesn't mean that you are free. Never go into a fight with a tenant and he reports you, and then at the end of the day, you find out that you've taken the person's rent 2 years in advance, 5 years in advance. You better be warned. So this is just a news. I don't care whether this news is old or is new, whatever it is still in our laws and it is working. If you're a landlord, you just have to be careful so that you don't put yourself into trouble the next times. Are you looking to buy a land around the seaside? This is actually what you need. This is a very big portion of land that is actually going for sale. We are currently at Breku, 5-minute drive to the seaside, and you always get to enjoy the breeze and also the beautiful view of the sea. Building your house here is one of the biggest things you can ever achieve in life, because this land you are seeing is not an ordinary land. It's actually a land that is registered and it is walled. You understand? It is registered at the Lands Commission of Cape Coast. Breku is located at the central region of Ghana. On your way going to Winneba, you reach Akoti Junction, you take your left, then you drive inside. So this is actually a very good location, and a lot of people are acquiring piece of land here. So kindly contact the numbers you see on your screen, they will get it done. So if this is your first time, kindly subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to press the bell button so that you get notified whenever we post any videos. If you also want to buy a land in Ghana, you want to buy a house in Ghana, just check in the description of the video, you get a number that you reach us. If you also want to handle a building project, we are available as well. Thank you very much. You're welcome to Business Ghana TV. My name is Imoru Sadat. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Imoru Sadat. Subscribe. Business Ghana TV. Thank you.